Nobody actually wants Joe Biden, not even Joe Biden's own supporters. And I'm not kidding. We have a poll from ABC News that finds that those who support Biden are just meh on him. No one's going like, woohoo, Biden. But among Trump supporters, they are foaming at the mouth, screaming and waving little American flags in favor of the president. 53% of Donald Trump supporters strong enthusiasm for Donald Trump among his supporters is at 53%, and for Joe Biden, less than half of that. Even Biden's own supporters. Former Vice President Joe Biden has emerged as Democrats' top choice for the presidential nomination in a new ABC News Washington Post poll. But with only bare majority support within his own party and massive enthusiasm gap in a November matchup against Donald Trump. Indeed, strong enthusiasm for Biden among his supporters is at just 24%, the lowest on record for a Democratic presidential candidate in 20 years of ABC Post polls. Wow. More than twice as many of Trump supporters are highly enthusiastic about supporting him, 53%. Trump's still strong rating on the economy is another challenge for Biden. So is this. Among Democrats and Democratic-leaning independents who prefer Senator Bernie Sanders for the nomination, 15% say they'd back Trump over Biden in the fall. Woo! Man, this is bad news. Wow. Incoming Democratic panic. I gotta say, Tucker Carlson said the other day, you may have seen me talk about it, he doesn't think Biden's gonna be the nominee. I gotta agree. If you got a 15% Bernie or bust contingent, and nobody actually wants Biden, then why would they actually bring up Biden in the first place? It's political suicide. In the nomination contest, 51% of leaned Democrats now prefer Biden versus Sanders, which is at 42%. That's a vast 34-point gain for Biden since mid-February. With other candidates having left the race and endorsed him, Sanders gained 10 percentage points. That's a separate sentence. Yet even as he's advanced in his party, Biden's slipped against Trump in a November matchup. The two are locked into essentially a dead heat among registered voters, 49-47 Biden to Trump, after a slight Biden lead, 52-45 in February. Biden does better versus Trump among all adults. Democrats are less apt to be registered, 50-44%. It's a slight lead, but it was more solidly significant in February. Perhaps the Democrats' biggest risk is under the surface. In Trump's big advantage in backers who are very enthusiastic about supporting him. Strong enthusiasm for a candidate can help boost turnout on Election Day, a must-have, particularly for Democrats who rely more on motivating less frequent voters to come to the poll. While trailing Trump by 29 points in the high-level enthusiasm, Biden makes up some of the difference with those who are somewhat enthusiastic. But he still trails Trump by 12 points in the combined measure, 74-86. Look at this. 49% of Biden supporters are like, meh. 26%. Oh, man, it's so bad for Biden. 26% of Biden supporters say they are not at all enthusiastic about Biden. And 24% are very. There are more people claiming to support Biden who don't actually want him than those who actually do. They're doomed. How do you win running no one against Donald Trump? Like, I'm not saying they're not running anybody. I'm saying they're literally running. They might as well put a mannequin in a suit. Actually, no, take that back. The mannequin has less gaffes than Joe Biden does. He'd do better. So yeah, you might as well. There's deja vu in these results. Oh no, it's 2016 all over again. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton found herself in largely the same position 4 years ago. She, too, had a slim lead among Democrats for the nomination and ran essentially evenly with Trump among registered voters. And she lagged in enthusiasm with a low of 32% very enthusiastic in September of 2016. Biden is 8 points under that mark now. Biden is doing worse than Hillary Clinton. I swear Trump is going to get 500 electoral votes or some ridiculous number. Bad as Biden's enthusiasm score is, we've seen worse. As few as 17% of former Republican presidential nominee John McCain supporters were very enthusiastic about his candidacy in 2008. And former Governor Mitt Romney saw you can call him Senator Romney, can't you? Saw 23% in 2012. The poor omen for Biden is that Clinton, McCain, and Romney all lost. They then go on to bring up some problems. I don't care about your polling problems. I care more about this. A story from the week. Joe Biden is the worst imaginable challenger to Trump right now. Yeah, the progressives get it. But I'll tell you what, man, these mainstream, moderate, Democrat, whatever you want to call them, they live in some alternate reality. Or they just don't care. I think that's the real reality. You got a bunch of people sitting at home saying, Biden, whatever, I don't care. Who cares? Whatever, it's fine. They certainly don't think Trump is the end of the world, so they're screeching for Biden. But you go to Twitter, and what do you see? These people are screaming for Biden because they think Biden can win. Now, I think it's fair to point out, Bill Maher once said, do I want Joe Biden to be the president? Not really, but he's the only one who beats Trump in Ohio. Nah, that's wishful thinking. You're basing this also off of the wrong polls. I mean, they did it in 2016, and now we're seeing similar data, so it's very likely going to happen again, and Trump's base is bigger than when it was in 2016. He's got every reason to get reelected, and yes, Joe Biden is the worst challenger. Now, The Week is a left-wing site. Let's see what they have to say. For anyone plugged into the news firehouse about the coronavirus pandemic, it has been extremely bizarre to watch President Trump's approval rating. He has botched this crisis beyond belief, and the United States now is the biggest outbreak in the world. Because of his ongoing failure to secure stockpiles of medical supplies, doctors and nurses are reusing protective gear and suiting up in garbage bags and page protectors to treat COVID patients. Yet Trump's approval rating keeps going up. Maybe it's because you live in fake news world, dude. Stop reading the trash news and start paying attention to what Americans are paying attention to, not the garbage news cycle of lies. It's funny because they're very obviously in the wrong side of history, whatever you want to call it, on the wrong side of history. Because the regular people are saying he's doing a good job. Where are you that you're hearing screaming at the top of their lungs and you actually think Trump's doing a bad job when everyone else likes it? You're in the minority. You are not speaking or representing the American people. You're the odd people out. They mention the polls where Trump is doing really, really well. And they say, this is what happens when the Democratic Party, de facto led at this point by its presumptive nominee, Joe Biden, refuses to make the case that Trump is in fact responsible for the severity of the disaster. Biden is proving to be about the worst imaginable nominee to take on Trump. Now, I don't completely agree with what he's saying, but I do agree with the essence of it. Joe Biden is failing so miserably. The dude could come out and just start word vomiting lies all day and he'd be doing better. Okay, maybe you'll say, but Joe Biden has integrity. No, he doesn't. He lies all the time. He launched his campaign on a lie, the very fine people hoax. The whole campaign is started from a lie. So if Biden really wanted to win, and he's already thrown scruples out the window and doesn't care, why doesn't he just start lying now? I'm not saying he should. I'm saying the guy clearly has no idea what he's doing. He's sitting in his basement, muttering and mumbling about nonsense, and he's become completely irrelevant, and everyone knows it. The Democratic Party is doing nothing to stop Trump. My only assumption, they want him to win. It feels like the Democrats want Trump to win. It really, really does. Either that or they're really dumb. You know, I just saw that movie, The Hunt, and there's a line in it that I think is pretty apt. It just depends on whether or not they're smart people pretending to be stupid or stupid people pretending to be smart. If they're smart pretending to be dumb, then yeah, they really do want Trump to win and they're fumbling around with Joe Biden to help Trump win. But I think the reality is they're stupid people pretending to be smart, so they've chosen Joe Biden, who can't possibly win. All right, I'll tell you what. I want to make sure I always had this caveat. They said Trump couldn't win, and he did. If Joe Biden wins, I will laugh a hearty laugh, because no one saw it coming. Joe Biden? Come on. They say now Biden is not entirely to blame here. Surely some of Trump's approval bump can be chalked up to the usual rally around the flag effect that tends to happen at times of crisis, and the fact that we are likely still in the very early stages of the pandemic. But if we dig into the numbers, some of the bump in Trump's approval rating is coming from the changes in Democratic attitudes. A Pew poll, for instance, found that Democratic and Democratic-leaning voters nearly doubled their approval of Trump over the last few weeks, from 7 to 12%. It's not a huge change, but it could make the difference between Trump winning or losing an election, which is likely to be close. As has been made abundantly clear, Democratic voters tend to take their cues from Democratic elites. The party rallied around Biden in lockstep right before Super Tuesday, and voters fell in line. They're going to talk about how Biden won a bunch of states. And I got to say, I still agree with the essence. I don't care that Biden is fumbling. You know, he's basically on the ground, like just staring at the sky, muttering and mumbling while Trump is running circles around the track. I don't necessarily care, so I'm not going to complain. I think it's funny. The Democrats have lost their minds putting Joe Biden up to this, and we can see it in his enthusiasm gap. He is doing worse than Hillary Clinton. What are you people thinking? They clearly don't want to win, man. It's like, you know, the definition of insanity. If they keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And it's not the real definition of insanity, but that's like a colloquial thing, or it's like it's a cultural definition, I guess you can call it. Hillary Clinton, everybody hated, okay? Like most people didn't like her. How is it that Joe Biden has less enthusiastic support than she did? And you're going to run that? You got to learn your lessons, man. Maybe you'll win. I don't know. I doubt it. I'll leave it there. I got one more segment coming up for you in a few minutes, and I will see you all shortly.